Hi, boys and girls. Our social studies for Wednesday is the end of the Civil War. Okay, so we'll look at the end of the Civil War, how it ended, how people felt about it, different opinions and stuff like that. And then we'll get to the Reconstruction, which is the rebuilding, and that'll be on Friday. So let's look at our notes for today. You can take notes, take pictures, whatever works for you. Okay, so there are 3 zones or theaters where the battles occurred. Trans-Mississippi Theater, the Western Theater, and the Eastern Theater. They'll ask you some questions about that. The Trans-Mississippi Theater involved many Native Americans. Some fought for the North, some for the South, and others did not even want to be involved. The Union general was Ulysses S. Grant, the main one. The main Confederate general was Robert E. Lee. And they would be the ones to end the war. Union General Sherman went on the offensive. He marched through Savannah, Georgia. He burned the city of Atlanta, took supplies, tore up railroads, wanted to make it all the way to the ocean, and he did because Savannah's right on the ocean. Abraham Lincoln ran for re-election. Shortly after or before the election, he did not think he would win because the war was not ending. Many people wanted the war over. He was not ending the war. Many people were tired of the war, and they were tired of losing loved ones. Lincoln won both the electoral vote and the popular vote. These are important amendments in here. The 13th Amendment banned all slavery or made it illegal to have slaves. In the last 2 years of the war, the difference in sizes of the armies grew. The North had a larger army than the South. They had more people to depend on or to get for their armies. In April of 1865, General Grant asked General Lee to surrender. The South was losing. They couldn't win any more battles, so he convinced General Lee to surrender. The last campaigns were at the Appomattox Courthouse, and that's where they signed the agreement. Abraham Lincoln was assassinated or killed by John Wilkes Booth because Booth wanted the Confederacy to win, and the Confederacy didn't win. If the president was killed or dies, the vice president takes over as president. So Andrew Johnson took over as president. So in other words, if something were to happen to President Biden, his vice president, Kamala, would take over. Kamala Harris. Okay. So because President Lincoln was killed, his vice president, Andrew Johnson, took over. And Andrew Johnson was from the South. So he didn't agree with what Lincoln had proposed because Lincoln was from the North. After the war, some Southerners attacked formerly enslaved people. They formed the Ku Klux Klan, which we here called the KKK. They would dress all in white sheets and stuff, and they were there to take the rights away from African Americans, from the ex-slaves. The KKK was wrong. They were treating them horribly, and also any Northerners that moved to the South. Okay, historians are not sure how many people died during the Civil War. Many historical records were lost or inaccurate. The main causes of death were disease and battle. More died from disease. So you may want to copy this down. This is the order of events. The election of Abraham Lincoln. Then they had the siege of Fort Sumter. That was the beginning of the war. Abraham Lincoln brought out the Emancipation Proclamation, which made all black people free. They had the Battle of Gettysburg. Then the re-election of Abraham Lincoln and the surrender at Appomattox Courthouse. Okay, and now you will go to DD4, Social Studies DD4.